Howdy, my name's Mudbrain, and it looks like you've broken into my house again. But, take a look. I redecorated, motherfucker. That's right, golden trimmed dining tables. I wasted so much money. Please help me. Anyways, I'm really bad at transitions. This is the God Wars lore episode. So, let me set the stage. It's the peak of the Zerosian Empire. His reign extends over most of Yellenor, and now he's just chilling on his throne in his own temple, devoted to him. Zamorak is here too, but at this point in history, he's not a god. He's still a Majorat, and he's serving underneath Zeros as his, what's the term? Legatus Maximus, I believe. Zamorak has been planning in his off time, though, making some deals with some demons and picking up a few toys, like, the Stone of Jazz or the Staff of Armadillo, just bits and bobs, he has no plans for them, but he's going to kill Zeros. So, eventually, one day comes that Zamorak builds the f***ing courage up, he's made a deal with demons, he's got all the things he needs. He storms into Zeros' throne room, staff in hand, army behind him, and he points at old purple dude and says, "Ome wa mo shinderu." And Zeros says, "I don't f***ing know what you just said." Then the two of them tussle for a bit, a little bit of a little poo-poo-poo, fisticuffs. One thing leads to another, and then the staff gets stabbed right through Zeros' chest, and a little bit into Zamorak too, just a little poke. The Staff of Armadillo, for those who do not know, is an elder artifact, an item of the gods who created this universe, the gods who created this planet. The Staff of Armadillo is actually referred to as the Siphon, which you can kinda guess what it does. So, staff through the chest, godliness being sucked out of him like a dehydrated child desiccating a Capri Sun, Zeros does the only logical thing he can do. He eats his soul right into the Shadow Realm. So yeah, the staff does its thing, and now Zamorak has absorbed a good glob of Zeros' divine juices. In this moment, he declares himself a god. And as his first act as deity, he declared anybody who didn't immediately swear fealty to their new lord was to be killed. As his second act, he took out his metaphorical magic eraser and began scrubbing away any proof of Zeros' existence. Thirdly, with his newfound godhood, he tried conquering more and more land, which he did. Very quickly. Too quickly. All this chaos set the stage for other gods to come in, namely Bandos and Saradomin. Armadillo was there too, but he didn't really do much yet. Saradomin finds Zamorak repulsive and makes it his life goal to f*** him up. Bandos just wants to f*** up everything. Armadillo likes birds. There's a few other and less powerful gods during this time, namely those of the desert pantheon, but that's a whole story of its own. So, Zamorak's going around, sending his army out to ransack towns and wipe out Zeros' memory when here comes Saradomin trying to do the exact damn thing. Sarah sees Zami destroying shit, being chaotic, all that good jazz, and he says, "Yo, cut that shit out, man." Zami looks this motherfucker dead in the eye and says, "Bruh," then goes back to his fuckery. So now, Saradomin is pissed at him even more and decides to beat him at his own game. He goes to the very throne room where all this took place, in the heart of Centiston, the town, the kingdom, Zeros' jewel of his empire. He went over there and fucking wiped it out, which didn't really take much because Zamorak already took care of that, but Saradomin came in and just did it again and then built his own town on top of it, named it Saranthium, because he's a cunt, an egotistical cunt. So Saradomin decks Saranthium out, right? He makes this place beautiful, fills it with gold and jewels and baubles, and it went bankrupt during the war. Meanwhile, Bandos is bringing over his enslaved troops from the planet of Ubiusk. Whole bunch of big, beefy boys, ogres, goblins, aurgs, everything you could imagine. He sees all of this war and him, just a big old game to him. Bandos is also a cunt. So Bandos starts conquering anything he can, making and breaking allegiances when convenient, sacrificing troops left and right. He's just murdering for the sake of murdering, because he's a fucking cunt. I can't put this in. I can't keep saying cunt in my video game video. Zamorak's out here being an angsty teen, Saradomin's being a grumpy old man, and Bandos is just the rabid dog running through the town. Armadillo's here too during all of this. He just likes birds. So here we are, hundreds of years into the God Wars, millions upon millions of deaths, the extinction of many races, and Zamorak has finally been cornered in Forinthry. Saradomin manages to talk some sense into Bandos for once, and Armadyl does a thing too, and together they forge the Godsword, a blade hopefully capable of killing Zamorak. Each of them creates their own hilt for the sword, imbued with some aspect of their divinity. After the blade was forged, Armadyl tasked his troops to fly it through the mountains to the north, to Saradomin's army. Zami's spies had kept him well informed of all of this, however, and he had his general, Krill Tsutorath, lay ambush to the Avian Sea in an attempt to steal the blade. Armadyl's troops retreated further into the mountain, discovering an ancient underground temple that they took refuge in. Word of this eventually reaches the gods, who send their strongest generals and armies to aid in the fight. So things get a bit fuzzy here, but eventually the allegiance falls apart and the fight becomes a free-for-all over the blade, which ends up shattering. Not gonna name names or anything, but this new conflict lasts another few years before Blue Boy, Bird Boy, and Beefy Boy get their shit together and finally gang up on Zami. There he stands, the weight of his sins pulling at his psyche, the dust of his kingdom blowing in the wind. A blue hand is lifted, a finger pointed in judgment. With nothing left to lose, Zamorak reveals that he was once again in possession of the Stone of Jazz. He unleashes the raw power of the Elder Artifact, creating a blast so terrible, so massive, it must be enough to end them all. The lush green hills of Pharynthria are eviscerated, spirits are separated from their flesh, the very soul of Gielinor cries out in pain. But yet, Zamorak and the other three gods remained. Fuck, Zamorak said. This final act of fuckery, this one last kick in the dick, this is it. Guthix wakes up. He sees the destruction that these people have wrought, these gods have wrought, and he says, get the fuck out. And yeah, that's the God Wars. There's a lot more little things I could have covered, you know, like Zeros and all the stuff before him, or Zamorak sending out his troops to take over the desert cities of Ulek and Uzur, or the betrayals that happened during the actual fighting over the sword, like how Saradomin got the fucking Armadyl crossbow, but, you know, other details for other times. The Third Age was just intense. There's a lot of stories to be told there still. You got a juicy bit of lore you want explored, then let me know. I promise I hopefully maybe won't take so long to make my next video. No guarantees. Alright, have a nice day.